What's going on, guys? My name is Jack and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be talking about once again Paladins. Unlike pretty much every other video I've ever made about the game on this channel, this is not going to be a positive video about the game. Obviously, if you've been following any of the news relating to the game recently, you have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be talking about, and I thought I would give my thoughts about the upcoming Cards Unbound update that is supposed to be dropping pretty soon here, right around the Christmas time, I would imagine. So, for those of you who may not know what Cards Unbound is, I'll give a brief overview of what it is, and then we'll break down what I don't like about it, and whether this is like the end or not. So, Cards Unbound is basically a complete revision to the cards and loadout system that's been in the game since launch. They're getting rid of the 12-point loadout system, they are getting rid of Essence as a currency, and what they're doing in lieu of that is they're going to be unlocking all cards for everybody, and now instead of being able to manually adjust cards levels in your loadouts, the level of your cards is going to be tied to how many duplicates you own. Basically, more duplicates you get, you can level up your cards up to a maximum of 5, and there's no cap on how many level 5 cards you can have. So you can have 5 level 5 cards for a total of 25 points, and essentially you can totally max out. Now, the obvious big drawbacks here are that now your card progression is tied to RNG, is tied to the loot boxes that you get from leveling up, from getting mastery levels on your champions, or just buying them straight up with gold and or crystals. And then secondly, my biggest problem with the thing is that we're essentially throwing the balance of the cards out the window. Even if they keep revising and revising, balancing like the bad actors coming up as we playtest this update, inevitably the entire card system as a whole, all of the cards in the game, are probably going to be touched and rebalanced in some way because they decided to so drastically change the system. And that's going to take a lot of time. That means there's going to be a lot of time between updates where there might be super overpowered combinations that are going to ruin casual and competitive to a certain extent. And I really don't like that. I don't think Paladins as a whole has ever had a big problem with balance. I thought that the game has always been very well balanced. And the cards as a whole have always been well balanced with the individual champions. And the fact that there's so many champions in the game currently, there's so many cards, they added so many new legendary cards with this update as well, it just seems like we're straight into the area where the game seems to be taking a couple steps back. What was a very well polished and very well made game to a game that actually does kind of feel like it's still in a beta cycle because there's so many balance issues and they're making so many changes update to update. Paladins as a whole, at least with the old system, did not feel like it was still in beta. It felt like a fully launched game that was just receiving new and regular content. And that was one of the things that I found very refreshing about it. Obviously, you know, the last couple years we've seen a lot of abuse with the early access system on Steam, and to see an early access title that is constantly delivering on new content and moving forward and heading towards their launch date was really refreshing to see. And it was one of the biggest marks that you could give a game, was that it was actually not abusing that system. And now we're looking at these, and I don't think Paladins ever looked more like a beta than it has today. Playing the PTS and playing some of the Cards Unbound for myself, it didn't even feel close to the same game. It felt weird, it felt clunky, it felt unnatural. It was so weird to have like the control that we had had prior, taken away. And that's probably another thing that is the second biggest thing I don't like about this update. The 12-point system gave freedom and control to everybody, but also kept things restricted so you couldn't do really ridiculous things with the cards. You could pick your 5 cards, and then you could have, your say into how you disperse your points into those cards to your liking. Even though there are aggregators like paladinsdecks.com that will kind of put you in the right direction for good decks for certain legendaries, you didn't have to go by those guidelines. Cards were there, but they weren't so massively beneficial. Like, they weren't game breaking to the point that you felt like you had to run like a meta deck, so to say, for certain champions. You had a lot of freedom. There were definitely better cards that you should use, but to what extent you used them or how effective they were in your particular loadout was really in your control. But now, that's just all out the window. because we can't control the level of our cards, it's just whatever you have. And if there are people with full level 5s and you're sitting there with, you know, like level 2s, level 1s, level 3s, you're like kind of a mismatch because maybe you started playing a new champion or you just simply haven't played as much as that other person, you were distinctly at a disadvantage. And that is going to ruin the balance of the casual play mode. And I know that people look at casual as like this lesser version of Paladins. Oh, who cares about casual balancing? As long as competitive is good and balanced, I don't care what happens to casual. And I really think that that's, you know, narrow-minded, because the casual and competitive versions of the game should be the exact same. You should be able to go into casual, just have a fun time and not worry about having to win, but get the same experience you would in the competitive queue, to the point that there's no differences. Like, you shouldn't have to worry about, oh, this loadout's going to be good in casual, but it's not going to be good in competitive because of the locked loadouts. I think it's going to split the community even farther. There's already a casual community and a very diehard competitive community of Paladins. And this is just going to grow that divide, because people are going to be in one of two camps. They're either going to love that all cards are level 3 and competitive, or they're going to love that you can just go hog wild and casual. And then I think there are a lot of people who are just kind of stuck in between who don't like this update. They're just going to be screwed. And the by far most horrifying part about this update is that they are heading towards a very scary place that we just recently saw with Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA that people really don't like, and that's tying progression to loot boxes. Now, I don't have a problem with loot boxes as a concept. I don't mind cosmetic loot boxes as a form of monetizing a game over like paid DLC. Like, if we had to have like map packs like in traditional Call of Duty style versus like the cases in CSGO, I would go for the system in CSGO, because I get all the maps and the weapons and the DLC that matters for free, and the cosmetic stuff's just on the side. And Paladins has actually stuck really true to that system themselves. I mean, the grind to unlock new champions was not that bad, because there were so many that for the most part people would just have like their core group of champions they would play. And if you wanted to support the game, you could buy the Founders Pack, or you could buy the cosmetics, and the cosmetics had nothing to interfere on the game. You know, not including some bugs that made certain skins, you know, like overpowered over the course of semantics. Anyway, this is a very decidedly different turn than to how Paladins has been approaching its monetization process to this point. And we're going to be seeing, you know, not this update, but in updates to come, Radiant chests are going to be purchasable with crystals. So now, people can just forego having to grind for their duplicates, and they can just spend, you know, whatever, 10, 20 bucks and just get all the duplicates they need. Not only that, you can boost the chests for crystals to get specific, like, types of champions, like frontline damage or flank. It's all very, very predatory, this type of system, because the casual player who may play 1 to 2 matches a week is going to be the person who gets most screwed, because they're not going to be playing enough to accumulate either enough gold or enough chests through grinding to be able to keep up with people in the casual mode. They're going to log on, able to have some 1s and 2s, maybe if they're lucky they'll have some 3s, but they're going to get absolutely stomped out by players who just simply have played more. Maybe they have a ton of gold accumulated from prior updates, and eventually people who just simply forego that whole process and just buy the Radiant chest to victory. I mean, all in all, I don't think the system can be the death of this game. I don't think the system will be just instant gone. Paladins is gone forever, right? I don't think that we're at that stage. I think the system can be iterated on. I think the system can be changed and adjusted based on our feedback to maybe become something that could be even better than the 12-point system. Now, currently, I am not sure how they could do that, but I also have faith that high-res aren't just going to throw this game away. You got to consider some other factors here besides them just wanting to make money. I mean, recently, obviously they've been doing the Paladins Premier League with WISA, and all of those really big sponsors and really big esports organizations are investing in Paladins right now. So it's definitely heavily in their interest to do whatever they can to keep the interest in the game high and keep the community there and dedicated and playing and supporting them. So if we push back enough, we can definitely get this to a system that is fair for everybody. It does not have to be Paladins does pay to win. I really don't think that this has to be that way. Obviously, I think what we have to do here is just come together as a community and give concise and polite arguments and push back against these updates in the right way to show Hi-Rez that not only are we dedicated to this game, but we are willing to work with them to find a happy medium between the 12-point system and cards Unbound. What we can't do, and I have to stress this because I've already seen a little bit of it, we can't attack the developers. We can't jump to shit posting, we can't jump to doing anything more egregious. I know it happens every time there's a big scandal, and we've seen it more and more lately, but we have to take the proper channels to make sure they hear our concise feedback. So let me know what you guys think of Cards Unbound down in the comments down below. Make sure you also upvote this if you see it on Reddit, so that we can maybe get this video out there and let the developers know more about our criticisms of the system. Obviously, make sure that you guys leave constructive feedback. I'm curious what you guys think. And if you like this update, I really want to hear your thoughts about this. I know there are people out there who probably do like it, so I want to hear what you guys have to think especially. Anyways, guys, my name is Jack. Make sure you subscribe to Nerdsmerized for more awesome content. Follow us on Twitter down the links down below. And also, on the end card here, one of the videos I'm going to be bumping up. We just recently did an open casting call here on the channel. We're looking for new creators. Obviously, Nerdsmerized is a big community. We're trying to make it into a big community channel. Currently, the creators here are Andrew, the man who owns the channel, myself, and my brother Jesse. So if you want to help out and you want to make content on the channel, submit a really awesome video to us and we'll go over it and we'll let you know if we like it. Also, we need people on our Facebook page, so if you don't want to be a front man behind the camera, or in front of the camera rather, you can be behind the scenes helping our Facebook page. So if you have any interest on that, shoot us a message on Twitter, comment on the video, and let us know. Alright then guys, my name is Jack once again, and I will see you in the next video.
Yo.